And it's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at AMD, and as we see, we closed at 259.65. So where are the trouble places, right? We have a pre-market low, 252.30. Back to the upside. Let's look to the upside, right? So 253.42, we just marked this area here, could be a resistance area for us. Why? Because price kind of kept us in this area for a while. And back to the upside, breaking that 253.94. Should we break that level, possibly 254.80, and should we break that level, 255.55, back to the upside, 256.23, breaking that 256.70. Should we break that, 257.19, breaking that 257.61, and should we break that 258.07, 258.76, breaking that brings us back to around 259.95, 259. Let's see here. 259.59, not 95, 259.59. So those are possible areas of resistance for AMD. Again, not financial advice. Now back to the downside under this 252.01. We knew that we could possibly have trouble at that 251.90 area. We could very well come back to 249.42. Keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out in this area here for AMD. And should we break this area, let's say the 252 area, back to 249.42, breaking that brings us back to around the 243.91. Keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in this area here. However, breaking the 243.91 for AMD, 242.51, again here at 241.90, and here at 241.17. So if you're trading AMD today, those are possible areas of support and resistance. Again, not financial advice. So we are looking at Meta. We closed at 637.71. And as you can see, price came down to an area here we knew we could possibly have trouble, 626.18. Resistance is around the 632.74 as of right now. Where are the trouble places for Meta? Let's say we get back above this 632.74, 633.80, 635.49, 637.38. Again at 639.05. There's a few layers here at 640.42. Should we break that 640.42 area, 641.47, 642.60, again here at 644.99, 645.83, 646.99, and again at 648.31. Again, I look at support and resistance on a smaller scale. Why? Because when I'm in the trade, I kind of want to know where my possible trouble places are. So should we break back to the downside for Meta, 630.17 could be a support area. I'm going to mark this area here. Why? Because price gathered in this area here, so it could very well be a support area for us. I'm going to mark it, the body here, and price came to this area. So that 628.18 could be a support area for us. Again, not financial advice. Breaking that brings us back again to the 625.50. And should we break that, the next level I have is down here at the 622.08. Keep in mind, we can very well get stopped out in this area here. So breaking that 622.08, 620.72, 619.56, and again at 617.71, breaking that 617.71, 614.55 could be a support area. Should we break that, 610.37, keep in mind, again, we can get stopped out here or stopped out here. Again, y'all, in this market, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed, right? I say mark your levels, trade carefully, and once it goes against your why or whatever reason you got in the trade, get out. So we are now looking at NVDA. We closed at 206.88 after coming off of this 211 high on yesterday. Y'all see we're down here. We've made a pre-market low thus far at 201.44. Something stopped us here. We bounced from there only to come back to an area 203.49 and possibly have trouble. So that is a resistance area for us right now, breaking that 203.49. 204.38, breaking the 204.38, 205.38, and breaking that for NVIDIA 205.91. That is where our ATR trailing stop is, or very close to it. Breaking that 205.91 for NVIDIA today, 206.87, and again 207.37, 207.99, and breaking that level 209.16. Should we break that 209.16, 210.91, those are possible areas of resistance for NVIDIA as of now. Back to the downside under 202.40. We could very well come back to the 201.95 and breaking that. Again, something stopped us here at this 5 o'clock candle this morning, 201.48. Now, should we break that 201.48, we could very well come back to 199.95. Breaking that 199.95 today for NVIDIA, 198.03. However, we could get stopped out here, so trade carefully if NVIDIA is something that you trade. Now, breaking that 198.03, the next level I have is around the 195.69 area, or the 195.95. That's kind of close, right? So breaking that brings us back to that 194.50. Should we break that 194.50 for NVIDIA today? 193.68, 192.95, 192.20, 191.30. Those are possible areas of support and resistance. Again, not financial advice. Now, we do have a few inside day candles, AI being one of those, and we have already reached the target to the downside. If we were to break through the 1697, the downside target was 1683, and as you can see, I'm going to mark this level here. Why? Because price gathered. It's like immediately I go to that area. We've made a pre-market low of $16.58. Now back to the upside. If by chance we break back above 1754, the upside target for AI today was at the 1759. Looks like we may have an interesting day in the market. Let's say that. So again, that 1658 price held at that area 1, 2, 3, and here at 4. That candle has not closed yet. So are we going to continue to the downside? That's something to be, to watch, and definitely mark your level. So if you're trading AI today, it is an inside day candle. Again, I say mark your levels, and once it goes against your reason for getting in, get out. So we are looking at CCL. It is an inside day candle for today. It too has already reached a downside target today. So the trigger to the downside was $28.12. Downside target was $28. We have made a pre-market low of $27.31. I'm going to mark that level because price gathered in that area here, and we are still declining for CCL, Carnival Cruise Line. So if by chance we make it back to the upside above $28.96, $28.99 is the target, and let's go see how much CCL normally moves. 95 cents per day. That is the ATR, which is the average true range for that stock. Again, it could be in either direction. Today could very well be a very interesting day today. So let's go and look at the SPY just to see. I think Walmart is an inside day. Let's get that. Yes, Walmart is an inside day. Candle does not quite look like the other ones, right? So above 101.81, we have an upside target 102.11. Now to the downside for Walmart, under $100, 37 cents. Downside target $100.09. So if you're trading Walmart today, it is an inside day candle. Walmart normally moves $1.91 per day. Again, not financial advice. That 5 o'clock candle was interesting, right? So if you're trading Walmart today, I said trade carefully. As of now, our support area is, I would say, this area here, 101.25, and if we break that for Walmart, $100.92, and breaking that, I'm going to mark this level. Why? Because immediately my eye goes to price gathered in this area here at $100.72 can be a support area, and breaking that brings us back to the downside trigger of $100.37. I said often, y'all, in this market, anything is possible, right? So we are looking at the SPY. We closed at 683.34, and as you see here, price came down to the 673.77 area and bounced from there. So I had the 673.95 area. We bounced from there back to the upside. Well, something stopped us. I'm going to see if I can mark that here. Look at the body of the candles here and the top of the candles here. So something stopped us at that 676.99 area. So back to the upside, we will need to get back above that. However, breaking that, we could still possibly have trouble. 678. 678 and breaking that 678, 678.47. Y'all see that's really close to the ATR trailing stop. Breaking that brings us back to around the 679.95. We could possibly have trouble there. And as we see here, it's like immediately I go to this area. Price gathered in this area here of 680.37. So if we break that 679.95, 680.37 could be a trouble place for us, and breaking that for the SPY, 681.35, 681.91, 682.96, 683.75, 684.27, and here at 684.88, breaking that 685.21. Those are possible areas of resistance for the SPY today. Now back to the downside. Say we break under the 675.65 area, which is here. Breaking under that brings us back to the 674.38, and there's a few layers of support here. 673.95, 673.61. Should we break that? 673. I'm going to see if I can make that a little bit bigger. So under that 673, that was a little okay. So under that 673 area for the SPY today, which is about here under the 673, we could possibly come back to 672.71, breaking that 672.51, 672.22, and here at 671.86, breaking that brings us back to 671.48. Those are possible areas of support for the SPY today. Keep in mind, SPY is in gap fill territory, meaning there's a few gaps to the downside that the SPY could very well come back and close, and we have closed the one from 1024 here, like here to here, and then from here to here. So we can come down to that 672.71 and close that gap. Just again, not financial advice. I say in this market, anything is possible, right? So we are looking at Tesla. I'm going to go back to that 30-minute chart. Why? Because it just tells the story. Again, I like to read, and Tesla does what Tesla does, y'all. We closed at 468.37. As you can see, we had a high on yesterday of 474.07, which made 0 sense to me. I didn't understand this candle here. But again, I say it often, Tesla does what Tesla does, right? So we have come down and found support. We closed again at 468.37. We're down here at the 455 area, finding support in this area, or let's say here at 456 area, finding support. Resistance could very well be around the 456.93. So we need to break that. We could possibly have trouble. 457.97, breaking that. 459.07, 459.86, 461.13, 462.14. 463.45 is where our ATR trailing stop, and y'all see it's right there at a level that we have marked. I love to see that. So breaking this for Tesla today back to the upside, we could still have trouble again. 465.20, 465.70, 467 brings us back to this area, which we consolidated in or created that gathering spot, as I like to say, right at that 467, breaking that for Tesla today. 469.82, breaking that. 471.06 up to the 472.11. Should we break that? Y'all see 473.42 is the level that I have had from, previously marked, and y'all see Tesla came up to this area here. So trade carefully. Now breaking that 473.42, we could very well come back to the 474.07. That was the high. And let's see the high of this candle here. Yes, 474.07. The level that I had marked was at the 474.48. So we kind of got close to that area. It kind of puts us in that area, right? So let's look back to the downside for Tesla. Say for we break under the 455 area, which has been holding us up here. We could very well come back to the 453.30, breaking that. 452.65, 452.08, 451.60 was kind of where that 5 EMA was on the daily chart. It could have very well moved as of now, and I do that often. Let's see if we can get that removed, and let's continue looking to the downside for Tesla. So under this 5 EMA on the daily chart, which was around the 451.54, we could very well come back to 450.01. Keep in mind, we can get stopped out anywhere in this area here. Breaking that for Tesla, we can come back to around the 449.91, 448.87, 448.29, 447.29. Those are possible areas of support breaking that 447.29 at 447.06, not very far away. However, breaking that 446.30, and should we break that 445.84, I'm going to go look at that day, the 1 hour chart for Tesla, because yes, it is a little congested. I say that, right? So breaking this level of 454.30, y'all see the 200 EMA on this 30-minute, on this 1 hour chart is around that 452.31, which is really close to where our daily chart, our 5 EMA was on our daily chart. So breaking this 451 area, it wouldn't surprise me to see Tesla back at this 440.41. Again, not financial advice, but that has been an area of strong support for Tesla. Again, that 440.41, and looking at it on this 1 hour chart, we can see it a little bit clearer here. So again, if you're trading Tesla today, I said often, y'all, trade carefully. Market levels, once it goes against your reason for getting in the trade, get out, right? Live to trade another day. So this is what I see when I look at the market. I said often, there's so many different ways to trade the market, and what's challenging is trying to figure out the strategy that works best for you, and for you to have the discipline to execute your plan, making sure that you have a plan before going into the trade. So I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. Again, if you could please like, share, subscribe. Y'all, we learn and we grow together. Until next time, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others.